everybody, and welcome back to It's Pod O'Clock, episode 5, match week 4, and we've got some stuff to get through. It's been a week. I've been away, not actually away, but I've been away doing, obviously not doing this podcast, and for a reason as well. I wanted to clarify for those of you that are probably wondering, where was the pod last week? Where was the pod on Monday? And obviously, as I'm saying right now, that this podcast will be released every single Monday at 6 a.m. UK time, whether that's on Spotify or on YouTube. But as is the theme on the thumbnails and the title, it's match week based. It's not international. Maybe in the future. Who knows? But I think when it comes to the international break, it allows me to have a bit of a break from doing these. As much as I enjoy doing them, I haven't really burnt out doing them, I must say. And I always really look forward to doing them. And I'm sure there are some of you out there that sort of anticipate it and look forward to it. But again, this is a match week based podcast for club football, whether that's Premier League, Champions League, FA Cup. You get the gist. International football is just not something I think is worth really dwelling on too much, especially at this point in sort of like the qualifications and whatnot. We can cover it a little bit on these episodes when the club football is back, but again, it's just not something that I'm too sort of invested in to talk about anyway until we get sort of further on into the tournament and everything like that, of which I've been obviously busy over the last 2 weeks or so. I've been booking things left, right, and center, and I will be in America for the World Cup during the World Cup period. Well, for the back half of it, I'll be there for the final. Fingers crossed, in some crazy world of which I seem to be, living in some ways with everything that's been going on over the last couple of months. Fingers crossed, I can snag a way into going to the World Cup final, and hopefully England are there, or not. Maybe. I mean, I would like England to get to the final, obviously. I would love nothing more. I'm one of those people who you ask, and I think maybe because I'm a Chelsea fan and we've won it all multiple times, I don't really have anything left to win. You know that question of club, would you rather your team win the Champions League or would you rather England win the World Cup? I am. And even before we won the Champions League the first time back in 2012, I've always been someone who I just want to see England win the World Cup. I want to be able to say in my lifetime, I have seen England win the World Cup. And we've said, everyone says it seems to be getting closer and closer, and it's never been more a reality and more of a possibility than these days. I know I said I wasn't going to talk about international football, but here we are. But yeah, I've booked. I'm going to be going to a few states actually, and then hopefully I can wiggle my way into MetLife Stadium in some way, shape, or form. We'll see how it goes, but at the very least, I will be in New York City for the World Cup final, which I think will be quite fun, to be honest with you. With that said, another match week is practically done and dusted. It will be done and dusted by the time that you guys are listening to this or watching this. If you're watching this, I do apologize. My hair is looking a little bit worse for wear. I haven't had a haircut in probably a month now. My barber is away, and many of you will know this feeling. I spoke about this on the watch along for the Brentford game, of which we'll get into that in a second. If your regular barber isn't available, I'm not getting it. I'm just not. The place I frequent, the place I go to, it's on a booking basis. I think a lot of places these days are. It's not the kind of place. You could do a walk-in, but the chances of you getting served aren't very high. And so it's best to just book on the app and, get it that way. And you can book your specific hairdresser or barber or whatever you want to call it to make sure that you get who you want. My guy is gone now until the 25th. It is the 14th. Is it the 14th as of recording this? It's Sunday. It's about 1:20 in the afternoon. The two games for today have yet to commence. Obviously, big ones: Liverpool, Burnley, Manchester City, Manchester United. I usually like to watch the game or a game whilst I'm doing these podcasts, but sadly. Not sadly, but happily, the missus is coming home today. The missus is coming home today, and I thought I should probably get this done and dusted, over and done with, before she returns with Rufus, and we can spend the rest of this weekend together as she's been away with seeing her mother back where she grew up, and it's just obviously best for me. It's the best case scenario is to just get this done and dusted so that I've got nothing else to do, and we can just have a good rest of the weekend, because obviously, and I kind of I'm growing my hair out now. I feel like I didn't really have much of a choice, and if he was here, I would have cut my hair back the way it usually is, but I'm looking a bit raggy at the moment, I must say. The beard needs a bit of a tidy up. The hair is a bit of a mop at the moment. I'm not looking great. I'm not looking good at all these days. I've looked better. I really have. I need to get back in the gym. I need to start losing a bit, because the summer weight, it has packed on. I haven't got anywhere near back to where I was at the start of, for those of you that were watching Harry Does 100, I did a YouTube channel where I was doing 100 days in a row of ice baths and dieting and vlogging every single day. It got a bit tedious, but we did end up losing about 50 pounds, and I got down to about 175 pounds. I've put on a bit. I won't lie to you. I won't lie to you. It's obvious. It's in the face. The beard is doing well enough to hide the damage that has been caused. But listen, I've had a good summer. The summer has now come to an end. We are in September, mid-September. I'm turning 30 in about 2 weeks' time. And it's in fact, if I'm not mistaken, it's 2 weeks today, as of recording, is when I turn the big 30. It is 3 weeks. 3 weeks. I've still got a little bit of time. I've still got a little bit of time left in my 20s, but albeit it's the clock is ticking. I really wanted to be in good shape for when I turn 30, but it's just not going to be the case, I'm afraid. So I can have a beer on my birthday for that. But yeah, by the time I go to America, which is sort of like June, July time, I've got a long time now between now and then to get in shape. Anyway, with that said, with that out of the way, shall we very quickly dwell over or go over fantasy football? Because I'll be honest with you, I feel like I'm doing all right these days. I mean, the average at the moment, ahead of the last two games of this match week, is 38. The highest is 118. I feel like people need to get a job, honestly. I'm already at that point now where I'm like, what's the fucking point? Do you know what I mean? I'm in 50th place. I was in 23rd place before these games took place. And I'm just curious. I think most people who would have... we've got Moises in motion. He had a pretty good... Well, I mean, I'm 44. That's not great. We have Hakuna Mateta in second place. They had, again, pretty good, 60 points, but still, Semenyo with 13. I thought my team was actually pretty good coming into this, to be completely honest. Sadly, Chelsea didn't win. I think that would have helped my points a little bit more, but I had Gabriel, 9 points, Gurhi, 6 points. Again, fucking Palace couldn't get the win on this occasion. Really annoyed. Neto with 2, Enzo with 4, Joao Pedro, my vice captain, with 7. He got an assist, obviously, and Mateta with 4, Rodgers with 3. I've still got Virgil van Dijk, Alisson, Mohamed Salah, Bruno Fernandes still to play in their respective games, but 35 points. I'm in 50th place. It just never seems to end, this whole fantasy football malarkey, in terms of you just got to get lucky, to be completely honest. I've still got my triple captain that I can use. I don't quite know who I would have put in. I've got 3 at the back at the moment. Timber is on the bench for me, so I didn't get his 8 points, but even still, I don't know who else I would have really taken out. Maybe Neto, looking at this, but it's all in hindsight. Do you know what I'm saying? Unsure who I'll probably bring in, because we've got Manchester United on the weekend, don't we? We'll get into that again in just a little bit. But first and foremost, I say first and foremost, I've been talking for the better part of, 10 minutes. So let's get into the nitty gritty. And that is obviously, I try again. I make out like this isn't a Chelsea podcast. It is obviously predominantly based on Chelsea Football Club, the kind of decor. I say this every time. It lends to Chelsea. So we always start with Chelsea. We'll get into the other games that happened. We've got Champions League coming up this week as well. And then, of course, Manchester United on Saturday. So sit back, relax, and we'll get through everything that needs to be spoken about. I'm absolutely frustrated, I think, is what most people... I'm angry. I think a lot of Chelsea fans will be angry at the situation yesterday. Again, at the time recording, Saturday night. 8 p.m. kickoff, first and foremost, is not ever my sort of cup of tea. It kind of ruins the evening. I like very latest, like a 4:30 kickoff, maybe 5:30 at a push. But by the time the game's finished, by the time I'm done, wrapped up, done the review and everything like that, it was like 11 o'clock, and I'm like, fucking hell. I know I'm home alone this weekend, but I kind of, I wanted to watch some TV and just chill. And by the time I watched some South Park and everything, obviously those are a bit topical at the moment, so I wanted to catch up with those. And by the time I'd finished up and everything, it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I woke up this morning 11 o'clock in the morning, and I've lost so much of the day. I'm now rushing. I've cleaned the house. I've done the washing up. I've done the washing of the clothes, and it's all a bit of a faff. I've now got to be rushing to do this. I've got to go downtown and pick up some bits for. We're having steak tonight. The missus went to a sort of like a butcher's and got some nice steak. So we're having a steak dinner tonight for our Sunday dinner. But yeah, anyway, back to the Brentford game. I think most people will be frustrated by the way in which we ballsed it, we bottled it, frankly. And not to name drop, but Troy was in the chat, and he was mocking us, saying, Chelsea, are they the new Arsenal because we bottled it? And I hit back and was like, what the fuck does that even mean? It's one game where, coming into this game, we were top, or second, but we were joint top with Liverpool. And, we've ballsed it. We have ballsed it. But to say that we're bottle jobs overall is a stretch, I would say. That said, on the watch along, I did say that I could see this being something that happens quite often. So in a way, I agree with Troy. But it is something that I'm a little bit worried about. Again, also, I want to mention that Tosin has been dealt the same blow, the same goal conceded twice now. Obviously, the Josh King one was disallowed, but that was exactly the same, where he's gone, run, cut inside, sent Tosin for a fucking hot dog, and then put it in. It's just a little bit alarming. I've seen a lot of people say that they are not trusting in Tosin, which I think is very harsh indeed. Because he has been very solid for us, and again was free, so it's harsh to heavily criticize someone that has obviously come here on a free and is doing a job that isn't really what he's meant to be doing. To be completely honest with you, not defensively, I'm speaking. I'm talking being a first team player. You know, we're supposed to be relying on Levi Colwill and Wesley Fofana, who, you know, are both just gone now. I mean, Wesley Fofana obviously played in this game, but the less said about that, the better. I just don't. I hate seeing him play at right back, to be completely honest with you. But again, I think there's way worse. There were way worse performances than Wesley Fofana. I just think he was on like the cusp of one of the worst. But Tosin, yeah, getting frustrating with him not being able to defend on the back foot is specifically the issue there. But yeah, I saw criticism for Chalobah. I thought Chalobah was great. I thought Chalobah was one of our main creators, our sort of creator from the back. Some really good whipped in passes throughout the game. Pedro Neto, I thought should have done well, should have done better with that opportunity that he had at the back post, where he decided to take a touch next to the goal instead of just anticipate the ball coming in, son. Do you know what I mean? Have a little bit of anticipation that, you know, that if the ball comes in, you're not going to have a chance to touch it and then put it in. Luis Suarez-esque, where it's like a touch and a shot straight away. It's got to be just a boot it and hope in that situation, given the angle, at least with that Suarez one. I think you guys know the one I'm talking about. I think it might have been against Norwich back in the day, but that sort of like immediate touch and then snapshot, that was not the angle for Pedro Neto to be able to do anything with that. Elsewhere, obviously, the first goal was just completely against the run of play and a bit of a hoof, but a good hoof, a really good pass forward there. I think, was it Jordan Henderson? It might have been Jordan Henderson. And then just taken well by their striker. I can't remember who it was. Began with S. But then the goal obviously coming from Cole Palmer. I'm having to remember all of this. Cole Palmer's goal obviously came on a little bit late into the game. Was it 65? No, it might have been. When was it? When was it? It was relatively early. No, maybe 60th minute. He came on 55th minute and scored 5 minutes later. And boy, what a goal! What a goal indeed. It's great to see him on the score sheet. It's great to see him finally sort of. I mean, maybe the injury did him well. Maybe the knock, the groin injury did him a service of kind of waking him up and thinking, oh, fucking hell, like, oh, I've really not been myself lately in terms of attacking wise, and creativity is obviously still there with him, but like the finishing product has been an issue. And yeah, I think that maybe there was a bit of a wake up call because he was himself like in that game. I thought he looked really good, sharp, despite the injury. And we'll get into the Bayern Munich shortly, but we can't be relying on him enough to expect us to get any sort of result against a Bayern Munich or even against Manchester United if the rest of the goons are going to be playing the way they were playing. I want to touch on, obviously, Garnacho and Caicedo's goal, and not Garnacho's goal, but Garnacho's input to that, obviously whipping it in, cleared away. Caicedo gets it on the edge of the box, and whilst it wasn't an assist for Garnacho, it was obviously good to see him involved in one way or another. He was very excited. I think he was kind of farming for the Instagram, and I don't think he's posted. Let me check. Ricky Hatton has died. I've literally just seen the notification that Ricky Hatton has died. What the fuck is going on? What? That is so... that is devastating. Wow. That's crazy. Listen, I'm not in any way like a big boxing fan. I've watched my fair share of sort of matches in my life, dozens and dozens, enough to have like to kind of know what's what. And I would argue, obviously, anyone that's my age, turning 30 soon. Oh man, um, Ricky Hatton was sort of the name growing up as a kid at that age. Obviously, you'd have heard of Mike Tyson and all that, but as like being English, Ricky Hatton was the the guy. And I know this is a football podcast, but it's yeah, that is that's really sad. 46 years old, man. That's nuts. That's absolutely crazy. Um, yeah. I mean, just obviously a pioneer in one way or another of the modern or what was the modern game sport back in the day. I think a lot of people that didn't watch boxing too much wouldn't have really known anything about boxing if it wasn't for a name as big as like Ricky Hatton fighting against your Floyd Mayweathers and whatnot. It's yeah, that's fucking insane. So many big name people are dying these days. It's absolutely nuts. Ozzy Osbourne, Hulk Hogan, Ricky Hatton. I'm surely naming, forgetting a few, but that is absolutely crazy. A really, really big name in the world of sports. Rest in peace, Ricky Hatton. It's I'm unsure what the sort of reason is, and I don't want to dwell on it too much. But it says that he was found by his neighbour. They said they're not treating the death as suspicious at this time. So who knows? Who knows? Anyway, where was I? Man, so many people are dying at the moment. What the fuck is going on? 46 years of age. My God. Man. Anyway, where was I? I don't even know. I think I was talking about Caicedo, Garnacho. I was checking to see if Garnacho had posted on Instagram, which kind of seems a bit irrelevant at this point. He has not. But I do think if we did get the win, you probably would have seen him with that celebration with Caicedo. There's quite a big picture already that's circulated with them celebrating just the two of them. Yeah, it was kind of I feel like he couldn't really post anything because he was so heavily involved in us conceding right at the death. And if he was to post now, it wouldn't be a good look. It would not be a good look whatsoever. So, in a weird way, it's a sign of maturing. It's a sign that he is maturing, Garnacho, because if he was at Manchester United, he would have posted regardless, I think. But here, I think he's seeing it now as a bit of a fresh start. And didn't necessarily want to cause any, ruffle any feathers, so to speak, by posting and just saying like, great game, but unfortunate not to get the result. And people were commenting like, well, it was your fucking fault. It was your fault, Sonny. Elsewhere, obviously in that goal, I think there's this sort of question around VAR because the flick on, I need to see the goal back, to be completely honest with you, to really cast a judgment on the goal. It's maybe if I can see it, can I kind of find it anywhere? Yeah, a lot of people are mentioning the obvious, that is, it was potentially an offside, and I don't really want to move. I don't want to move like that. I don't want to try and treat it as though it was us being hard done by. It was just poor defending all around, and I think we've been made to pay. I think we were caught sort of dwindling and sort of dawdling, and I think we were made to pay. And looking back at the full, I think it was not the full. I think it was the Fulham game. I mentioned that we won despite not being the best team on the pitch on the day. This was a game where I think that we could have probably said the same if we did get the win in the end. We didn't. And as a result, it was a sign that maybe we haven't moved too much in the right direction after all. But I don't know. We'll have to see if it was kind of like a one-off. I just think defensively we look shocking at the moment. We do miss the likes of Levi Colwill. I thought that we were incredibly different once James and Cucurella both came on at halftime. The lineup to start with was just terrible. And I will say, Buonanotte, what a performance in that first half. The reason he got subbed, I don't know. Who knows? It's just beyond me. Some of the decisions that Maresca makes, and I see a lot of people defending him, saying, like, he's only working with what he's got. We've got so many players. We've got so many players. So this whole excuse of it, he's only working with what he's got at his disposal. Well, he didn't do a very good job, honestly. Games elsewhere, we had Arsenal beating Forest. I think my prediction now for Forest doing really poorly this season is looking a little bit more of a reality. I think they started well and maybe shut a lot of people up, but still early in the season. But 3-0 against Arsenal is it's pretty big. Brighton losing to Bournemouth. I think Bournemouth are actually doing really well at the moment. 9 points after the last 4 games, or first 4 games. They're in 4th place, so they're above us as we speak. Palace dropping points to Sunderland at home as well is also a bit of a shock. Everton Villa. Again, I feel like that's quite an evenly contested sort of match these days. Aston Villa in 19th place, boys and girls. That is insane. 2 points after their first 4 games. And Everton look a lot better than last season and the season before that and the season before that and so on and so forth. Fulham, again, doing all right this season. Leeds being Leeds. They lost. Newcastle, Voltamada, or however you say his name, getting a goal on his debut. Seems poetic. Do you know what I'm saying? And they are up to 9th. Wolves in 20th. They are unequivocally, without a shadow of a doubt, and I had Wolves, I'm fairly sure, in my bottom 3. I think it was Leeds, Burnley, and Wolves were my bottom 3. Burnley are in 17th. Leeds are 15th, but again, still early days. I think that will really come to fruition. I think Wolves have had their time. I think they're going. West Ham, on the other hand, could be one of those teams where if it's not Leeds or Burnley, it's going to be West Ham. They look absolutely shocking. The sooner Graham Potter gets sacked, the better for them. I can't imagine a world in which he is there by the time the end of the season comes around, So, yeah, obviously we were then the last game of the day, 2-2. I thought probably a fair result in the end of the things, from a if I was looking at it from a neutral perspective, or even a Brentford perspective, I could see why people would argue it was probably best to have a draw in that result. Burnley, Liverpool. I just feel as though Burnley are going to cause an upset. I think it's a draw. I don't think Burnley are going to win by any stretch, but I think that there's something there. Either that or Liverpool just absolutely bum them. And that's that. City United. I've got a feeling. I've got a sneaking suspicion. Just a sneaking suspicion that Manchester United might get a result here. Again, a draw, I think, is what it's going to end up likely being. Okay. Man, that's bummed me out. It's really bummed me out. Man, it's just such a... Oh, man. It's just sucked the energy out of me, I must be honest with you. I was so up for this, and seeing he's passed away is just another one where it's like, what the hell? I think it is because I'm turning 30, and whilst some of you listening will obviously be considerably older, maybe my parents' age, maybe maybe older than that, you'll be looking at me saying, shut the fuck up. 30 is a baby still, and it's young, and I'm sorry if in relation to what I have lived, 30 seems fucking old. As of right now, I'm feeling old. I'm like mentally, not physically. I mean, physically, I've got, bad back. I'm fucking stiff as old boot, and, but that's just something that comes with time, but mentally, this year in general, 2025, so many fucking people from my childhood have died. It's just making me realize that I am getting old. Ricky Hatton dying at 46, though, is bullshit. Like, that is just not someone who should be dying anytime soon. And I feel like he had some stuff going on, with maybe little bits of this and that, but to sad, really sad. Okay, moving on to, I want to go over Champions League before we talk about Manchester United on the weekend. Champions League, there's Athletic Club versus Arsenal. Is the first game. We've also got other games as well. Benfica versus Qarabag. They are teams who are going to be facing us at some point as well. Juventus versus Dortmund is a big game. Real Madrid, Marseille, Tottenham, Villarreal. Those are the Tuesday games. Wednesday, you've got Olympiacos versus Paphos. We play Paphos at some point. I don't think they're going to be causing us any concern in terms of the league rankings, but still. Ajax versus Inter. I think we've got Ajax in this run. Liverpool versus Atletico Madrid, a big one there. PSG versus Atalanta. And of course, Bayern Munich versus Chelsea. And if we look at our head-to-head, it's not been good. It's not been good. It reminds me of Chelsea and Man City. Since we beat Man City at the 2021 Champions League. Let me get that. I want to get that up before we get into that, because I want to see. I don't think we've beaten them. I genuinely don't. Why the fuck is there not a head-to-head there? I don't think we've beaten Man City, or at least no, I don't think we have. I'm genuinely serious. I don't think we have beaten Man City since the Champions League. Champions League against, not Champions League, but against Man City. 2-0 loss, 4-2 loss, 1-0 loss, 1-1 draw, 4-4 draw, 1-0 loss, 4-0 loss, 1-0 loss, 2-0 loss, 1-0 loss, 1-0 loss, 1-0 loss. 1-0 win. We have not won a single game against Manchester City since the Champions League. And as fun as that is to say, it's fucking depressing at the same time. Similarly, when we talk about head-to-head with Bayern Munich, since we beat them in the Champions League final back in 2012, we played them in 2013 in the Super Cup, which would have been when we won the Europa League the following year and held both at the same time until Bayern Munich obviously won it the year after we'd won against them. That was 2-2 and we lost on penalties. We then lost against them in the Champions Cup in Singapore in 2017, 3-2. We then lost 3-0 against them in the Champions League first leg in 2020, and then 4-1 away from home in 2020 for what was a 7-1 on aggregate. So, yeah, it's not a good record. I'm a bit worried, to be completely honest with you. And now that Champions League is here, I am excited to be able to be talking about this in the next episode, and hopefully Chelsea have gathered something from the Champions League. But the actual aspect of Champions League, being able to talk about it, is obviously exciting once again. That said, their record at the moment is pretty unbelievable. 5-0 win against Hamburg, 3-2 against Augsburg, 3-2 against Wehen Wiesbaden, 6-0 against Leipzig, 2-1 against Stuttgart. And then it's a load of club friendlies. They obviously got knocked out against PSG in the Club World Cup, who we obviously went on to beat. But I'm not hopeful. I'm not hopeful, especially after that performance. And I know people will say, it was a weakened side from the start, and maybe that's why, and people are tired. You can't do that. You can't make that excuse in the game coming up. You've kind of got to fucking man up and do your job and actually play football to a level that is of the Champions League standard. I think we're going to lose like 3-0. I don't think we'll score. I think that it's going to, unless it's going to be either one of two things. It won't be a draw. They're either going to pepper us, or we're going to pull some fucking miracle off, and it's going to be that of reminiscent of the Champions League, where backs against the wall, but we've pulled something off. I'm hoping it's the latter, to be completely honest with you, obviously. With that said, Manchester United on the weekends, much the same. I just, for the life of me, absolutely detest playing against Manchester United. In the last, what the hell is this fucking statistic? 14 wins for Manchester United, 14 draws, 13 wins for Chelsea in the last, whatever that is, 28, 38, 41 games. What a weird way to do a head-to-head. It's usually the last 5 games, of which the last 5 games, Chelsea have won at Stamford Bridge back in May. We drew against them at Old Trafford, of which I think that was... We actually came back from 1-0. We had that crazy game at Stamford Bridge back in 2024, April of 2024, with Palmer doing what he does. And then it was just a bit of a shit show after that. 2-1 at Old Trafford, 4-1 at Old Trafford, 1-1 at Stamford Bridge, 1-1, 1-1, 0-0, 0-0, 3-1 to Chelsea in the FA Cup. And it goes back and back and back. But we have not beaten them at Old Trafford since 2013. Juan Mata in the 87th minute. They had 10 men. De Silva, or Rafael, I think it was his name. Was that the foul on David Luiz, I want to say? I think it was. Where David Luiz did the little roll around and like the little peekaboo. It's been a long time, though. It's been a long time since we beat them at Old Trafford, and it's got to come at some point. Do you know what I'm saying? The time has to come in one way or another. I think it's got to be this game. 5:30 on a Saturday. It's a weird one, but I'm just praying we fucking do something, Just please. I'm begging you. I am begging you, for the love of Christ. I think if we can win at Old Trafford in a season for the first time, anything's possible. Anything's possible. Do I think we're going to win the Premier League this season? No. No. I don't think it's possible at this point either. I know we're only 4 games in, but looking at the way we play, it's too reckless. It's too headless chicken. It's too disjointed still for us to put anything off. I still think we'll get top 4, but to say we're going to be challenging for the league, if we do, it's going to be remarkable. But I don't see the likes of Arsenal or Liverpool slipping up until right at the end. With that said, I mean, there's some big games, obviously, that next weekend. Arsenal versus Manchester City. There's the first Merseyside derby of the year, Liverpool-Everton. Yeah, it's the worst. It's the worst derby in the league. It's so boring. It is such a boring one. If it was at Goodison or whatever the fuck the new stadium is called, then I think it would probably be a bit more of an entertaining game because Everton will probably be up for it. But I don't see them winning, especially 12:30 at Anfield. It doesn't seem like it will be too much to really write home about. At this point in the season already, I just think that, you know, it's only Liverpool now above us that are left to play. Man City is 16th. They can't go above us yet. Manchester United, if they win, they will go to 7 points. And who is it? It's Liverpool and Burnley can't go above us either. So it's only Liverpool that reclaim their place at the top of the table if they do win. So we'll see. We'll see what goes on. But yeah, that's the end of this. I'll tell you what a journey this episode has been, hasn't it? Fucking hell. Rest in peace, Ricky Hatton. Gone way too soon. Like the video, subscribe. It feels a bit fucking bad saying that, but you know, I've got to close it out some way. Like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Follow me on Spotify. Give me 5 stars if you can. Really do appreciate it. And let me know your thoughts in the comments. You can comment on the Spotify stream or the whatever the fuck it's called. I think it's a stream. And on the YouTube video. So let me know your thoughts on this week and the upcoming one as well. With that said, my name is Harry. Cheers and peace.